Tchaikovsky wrote a wide range of music. He wanted to be thought of as a composer of opera, but it is in fact his orchestral music which is best known and most enduring. His work falls into 5 groups: orchestral music, chamber music, songs, operas, and finally ballet music. Orchestral music. Tchaikovsky wrote 6 numbered symphonies, of which number 6, known as the Pathétique, is the most popular. He wrote another fine symphonic work called the Manfred Symphony, not to be confused with Schumann's symphony of the same name. It is very long and difficult to play, which is probably why it's not often heard. He wrote 9 overtures or fantasies, of which the most popular are the Fantasy Overture Romeo and Juliet, the Festival Overture 1812, celebrating Napoleon's humiliating retreat from Moscow, the Symphonic Fantasy Francesca da Rimini, and the Symphonic Fantasy on Shakespeare's play The Tempest. There are 4 orchestral suites made of various dance forms, and a few miscellaneous orchestral pieces which are very popular in the concert hall, for example the Marche Slave, which stuns all Russian hearts, and the Capriccio Italien, and the charming Serenade for Strings. Very important among Tchaikovsky's orchestral works are the concertos. There are 3 piano concertos, of which number 1 in B-flat minor must be the most played concerto in musical history. Not far behind is his wonderful violin concerto in D major. There are a few minor works for solo violin, cello or piano with orchestra. Chamber music. Here Tchaikovsky's output was not large. There's an early string sextet known as Souvenir de Florence. There are 3 string quartets, number 1 in D major, number 2 in F major, and number 3 in E flat minor. All of these pieces have much charm and character. Perhaps the finest work in this group is the Trio in A minor for piano, violin and cello. It was written in 1881 as a memorial to his friend Nicholas Rubinstein, director of the Moscow Conservatoire of Music. Tchaikovsky played the piano, of course, but not with great distinction. Perhaps it is not surprising that he wrote little for the piano, and what he wrote was uneven in quality. There are 2 piano sonatas, of which number 2 in G major is worth hearing. There are a number of minor pieces, including a fine album for children, and another group called Pieces of Moderate Difficulty. The finest group is of 18 pieces published near the end of his life, but probably written over several years. Songs. He wrote about 80 songs, many of them emotional and powerful in their effect. One early one in particular, Nur wer die Sehnsucht kennt, with words by Goethe, is immensely popular. A fine group is known as 16 Songs for Children, Opus 54. In his solo songs, Tchaikovsky is at his most Russian. Operas. It was as a composer of opera that Tchaikovsky would have liked to be best remembered. He wrote 8 finished operatic works, of which 2, Eugene Onegin and The Queen of Spades, are near the top of the list of opera hits of all time. Based on a poem by Pushkin, Tchaikovsky himself wrote the libretto for Eugene Onegin, selecting lines unaltered from Pushkin's text. His commitment to the story was so intense that the work has a sense of completeness and conviction that is quite remarkable. The Queen of Spades is also based on a Pushkin story, though the libretto was by Modeste, Tchaikovsky's brother, who had some success as a playwright. The other 6 operas are The Oprichnik, Vakula the Smith, Joan of Arc, Mazeppa, The Sorceress, and Iolanthe. All of them contain fine elements here and there, but the librettos are weak and they do not hang together dramatically as do the two Pushkin operas. Tchaikovsky admired the ballet and wanted to write well for it. This he did. The Swan Lake, The Sleeping Beauty, and The Nutcracker are undoubtedly the most successful works ever written for the ballet, and certainly amongst the most popular pieces in the classical repertoire. If it rested on nothing else than these three works, Tchaikovsky's reputation in the annals of music would be assured. The essence of Tchaikovsky's music will be found in the Sixth Symphony, the Pathétique, the Violin Concerto in D major, and in the opera Eugene Onegin.